What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another MLB video where today we're going to talk about whether or not Jose Berrios is a fit for the Blue Jays at the deadline. In case you didn't know, Berrios was rumored to be a fit for the Blue Jays at the deadline by an MLB reporter, and I'm going to talk about what that deal would look like and if it would make sense for the Jays. Before we get into this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content and make sure you don't miss any more future baseball content. So let's get into the video. So looking at Berrios' stats, in 2021 he's been playing pretty decently this year, even though the Twins have been really bad this year. He's been playing pretty decently, and he might even pitch a little bit better with better run support. It might, boost his confidence. He might go out there, with more confidence and pitch better with extra run support behind him. He'll also get some more wins as well, but wins don't really matter as much anymore as people, thought they used to. But he could definitely pitch better with more run support. Looking at his MLB career stats, he has some pretty solid major league innings under his belt, over 700. I mean, he's still only 26 years old, so he's going to be going into the prime of his career. I think the Jays would get some arbitration time over him as well. I don't think he becomes a free agent for another year, or maybe after this year. I'm not 100% sure, but if he does have another year, that just adds more trade value to him, and the Blue Jays could have him for an extra year. But if he is a rental, then his trade value goes down a little bit. So he has some pretty good major league stats. Going over to some possible trade pieces, we have Miguel Geraldo, who's a third baseman who can also play some first base. The only reason I see him on the list is because maybe the Blue Jays won't have anywhere to put him because his bat is really good, but his defense isn't the best. So he's sort of like a Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just maybe not as hyped about as a prospect. Number 2, we have Orelvis Martinez, who is a shortstop who can also play third base, first base, and DH. He is like Geraldo, can hit for a lot of power, a lot of contact, but his defense isn't the best either. And if Bo Bichette being at short, I don't really see him getting a lot of playing time. And if he moves over to third, there's also Austin Martin, Jordan Groshans, and Miguel Geraldo. So I don't know if he'll be able to get a lot of play time, so he might be in the deal. Jordan Groshans is another player who would be on the deal. He's been in the organization for a while, former first-round pick of the Blue Jays. He only plays shortstop, but he does play some second base sometimes. I think they're trying to transition him into a second baseman slash third baseman so that he can replace Semien or Biggio at the end of the year. But the thing about the Blue Jays is they don't like to trade a lot of prospects because they don't want to be the front office that trades one prospect for a player, especially a rental. They don't want to trade a prospect for that player, and that prospect turns out to be a superstar when he grows up and develops, and the prospect that they kept instead turned out to be, not so good. So if they decided to trade Geraldo or Martinez and keep Groshans, and Groshans, never really made it to what he was supposed to be, and Geraldo goes out and wins an MVP or something, that would obviously be a bad move for the organization. So the Blue Jays want to wait to see what they have with every player. But the thing about that is that if the player doesn't pan out, they lose their trade value. So, it's tough to say what will happen there. The Blue Jays might have to just take a chance. I don't think it will be anyone from the Major League team that will go over to Minnesota. I don't think the Blue Jays want to subtract from the Major League team. The only person I would think of that maybe would go over to Minnesota is Rowdy Tellez, but Minnesota doesn't need someone like Rowdy Tellez because they have Sano and Donaldson and some other people who can play in those positions, and especially DH, Nelson Cruz. So I don't see anyone from the Major League team going. It would have to be some prospects, probably some lower level team prospects, like a pitcher who's like number 30 or number 20 in the organization. I mean, there has been some trades where the team receiving is, gotten a little lucky. We look at the Yu Darvish trade. Cubs fans thought that Darvish should have gone for a lot more than what they got. So maybe the Blue Jays could be able to pull Berrios away from the Twins for cheaper. But this is what you're most likely looking at for giving up, which, the Blue Jays, I don't think they want to trade those prospects. But if they want to get a deal done, they'll have to. I don't really see them as major buyers at the deadline. They might be for a starter, but I think they're going to trade some lower level prospects to try to keep the waves of good prospects coming up. I could also see them going after Hendricks on the Chicago Cubs, but that's a different picture. So this is definitely, I think, the most realistic possibility for the Blue Jays is getting rid of these prospects and maybe some other arms who are in the organization for lower. And the only reason they would go out and get Berrios is obviously they need starting pitching. I mean, Ross Stripling has been a little bit unpredictable at times. They don't want him to fall into a slump that he can't get out of. Steven Matz, I'm sure most people know about his 2020 season. They don't want, if Matz goes back to 2020 Matz, then the Blue Jays run into a problem in the rotation. Robbie Ray's has a history of injury. He could also fall off a bit. and then Ryu is their ace. But if Ryu gets injured and the other rotation members aren't doing their job, then the Blue Jays run into trouble. And especially towards the end of the season in the playoff hunt, you need a lot of innings. You need, quality innings. And the Blue Jays are going to be playing some big games at the end of the year. So it would definitely make sense for them to go get him. I mean, the Blue Jays do have a lot of infield depth that is expected to be really good. Austin Martin, all those people. As far as their starters go, you have Alek Manoah, which the Jays won't trade because he has a lot of potential, and two, there's lots of fan hype around him, so it wouldn't make sense for the Blue Jays to trade Manoah. I know he was talked about in the Lindor trades over the winter, but it never really panned out. But there's lots of fan hype around Manoah, and the Blue Jays want to sell tickets. Manoah's debut, if it were in Toronto, would definitely sell a lot of tickets, so I don't think they'll trade him. Simeons Wood Richardson is the same way. They got him in the Stroman deal a couple of years ago. I think they really want to invest a lot into him to make sure that he becomes an ace. And then they got Nate Pearson, who struggled a bit, but he is expected to do big things in the majors. So the Blue Jays sort of have that future three-headed monster if they all pan out in the minor leagues that they want to take up. I don't see them trading anyone there. So these are really the only prospects I think of. So let me know. Should the Blue Jays acquire Berrios? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.